Good morning and good afternoon, all. I would like to welcome all of you for two-part webinar series about transform your transportation for the future. My name is Yogesh Bidkar from Westernacher, and I will be accompanied by Andrea from SAP for discussing the topic. Today, we will be at the first webinar where we will be talking about what are the latest developments in logistics, how transportation processes are playing significant role with end-to-end supply chain process, what are the SAP offerings in logistics space, what are the benefits of transportation or transformation to next gen TM along with capabilities of the latest version of SAP Transportation Management, and followed by customer success story. With this, now I'll hand it over to Andrea to take us and discuss about the further topic.
Thank you, Yogesh. Thank you, May, for the kind introduction. My name is Andrea Ricciarelli. I'm part of the SAP Center of Excellence with a focus on digital logistics. Today, I would like to introduce you to the logistic platform for SAP and in particular transportation management solution from SAP and sharing with you some processes, some of the features and some highlights basically about the solution. Basically, in today's time, we see so many changes in logistics and some key trends and topics that are driving the transformation in logistics. From one side, we have an increasing number of companies that are shipping orders through online orders, either retail customers, but as well consumer products that are delivering their products to the final consumer directly from their warehouse and facility. This trend changed a lot the logistics experience and as well the customer expectation. So everybody of us has experience to order through Amazon a specific product and to receive it, all the information about when this product will be delivered, at what time, day after day, or even the same day delivery. So this has changed a lot the expectation of everyone and the expectation as a customer we have when we order something. On the other hand, the increasing online order, the increasing capillarity of Amazon drag all the workforce in the different warehouses. Okay, today we see so many customers that I have find difficult to find workforce in the peak period to work in their warehouse. And this opened the second trend. So basically, there is a limited workforce to ship orders, to prepare orders, and many customers are using and increasing the usage of automation to increase the throughput of their facility because they find difficult to find new workforce, to onboard the workforce, and through the automation, they empower the existing staff they have working to the warehouse. So another big trend we see in logistics is the increased usage of automation to serve better and faster the customers. Okay. Another big topic is the visibility. We mentioned Amazon, our expectation to have visibility on every delivery, on every order, but company-wise, we saw a few years ago the challenge of this vessel that blocked the Suez Canal and the impact on every company that were looking about their order. Where my order was the most asked question during this time. So every company is looking for visibility about inventory, not only inventory in their facilities, but also inventory in transit. This is a big topic, and having visibility means decrease the late shipments, means decrease the inventory carrying cost. Okay, so it is a big topic that every company is looking to tackle. Another big and one of the major topic of the next coming years we see is the sustainability topic. So sustainability is important, more and more important, and every company is addressing the transformation in order to control and decrease the CO2 emission of their operations, and also from the CO2 emission of their partner and stakeholders or different business partners operations. And so sustainability is another big topic, an important topic and trend. In this scenario, we have technologies, okay, technologies that can help customers driving their transformation. From one side, we have the proliferation of sensors. So everybody has an iPhone, we have sensors everywhere, and those sensors can help to retrieve data. And data can be used if with the right interpretation to drive decision, but also to drive prediction. And here we arrive to the next topic, that is the automation. Automation that can be mechanical automation, of course, to support the operation, but as well, let's say software automation, like imagine artificial intelligence, for example, in order to work on the prediction. So in this sense, there is a lot of investment and a clear trend to use the data, not only to have an information of what is going on in real time, but also to work on prediction. And this is the new frontier. So many companies till now have worked to real data. Now the real new frontier is the prediction. So knowing what is going to happen in 1 week, or if there is something happening. Another technology that is driving the transformation is the network technology. So a lot of companies are now moving from connecting one-to-one their partner to connecting a network of business service providers. For example, in logistics, to retrieve data. We will see later on some example. And also, of course, overall, there is the cloud transformation, basically a new way of consume and use the software. All these trends are driving the transformation of our customer. SAP is, of course, developing software to support the key requirements of our customer, in particular with a logistic platform that contains different business software applications that supports different kind of processes. Today, the focus is on transportation management, and we will go later on in the detail of this solution. But as well, there are other solutions that are complementary and integrating transportation management, like extended warehouse management for warehousing operation, yard logistics for managing the operation in the yard between the door and the gate of a facility. In addition to that, we have those solutions can be empowered by more solutions that are designed to integrate the network of suppliers that are working with your own company. Solutions that are addressing the collaboration with the carrier, or solutions that are addressing the tracking and tracing on different operations. All these solutions comes natively integrated with SAP backend, like S/4HANA, like ECC, and can be empowered by business technology platform to design and to craft specifically the solution to the requirements and desire of every customer of SAP. So, with that said, let's go deeper in transportation management. That is the topic of today. So transportation management is a solution designed a while ago to support the operations of a company that wants to ship goods, that wants to move material. Is a solution that is supporting multimodal operations, either international or domestic operations, inbound operations, outbound operations, with the simple, like a direct shipment, to complex high volume of operations. For example, a global multimodal multi-stage shipments, where your material is handled by different partners and different service providers. The solution is a solution that offers different processes that where we will go in the detail right now, from the strategic freight management to the order management, the planning, the execution, the costs settlement, and a lot of analytics and reporting. Let's go by one in these different processes supported by SAP Transportation Management. The strategic freight management is a part of transportation management that is designed to support the contract negotiation, to give data to you as a company, where you are negotiating with your freight service provider a contract. Basically allows you to understand where you need capacity based on your actual data, based on your historical data, based on your forecast, and this helps you to drive a better negotiation, to optimize your capacity, negotiating the capacity you need with the service provider you need, based on the cost, based on the need you have. And at the end, the benefits is saving your transportation budget, because you just buy the services you need where you need these services. I would say it's a tool that you use in the midterm. In the other processes, you are much more operative in the short term. The first is the order management process. Basically, in the order management process, you collect all the transportation requirements. Basically, you need to transport something between origin and destination. You need to understand what is the volume, what is the weight of this material you need to transport. You need to understand what is the best way to transport. For example, you can consolidate together orders. Imagine two different sales orders that goes to the same customers. You can consolidate in one single truck and to be shipped to the customers. In this order management part, basically, you apply rules to consolidate orders of certain category in order to minimize the freight cost and to serve better the customer, basically to deliver the goods where the goods are needed at the customer side. It's very interesting because the source of the order management, the source that created the requirements, is coming from could come from SAP backend system, for example, in the ERP or in S4HANA, where you have sales order, for example, where you need to ship different material to your customers based on different sales order. The sales order represents a transportation requirement, ship some material to a final customer and by a certain date. But as well, purchase order can be a source, a requirement for transportation management, where when you buy material X works, basically you collect the material from your supplier. Probably you need to collect the material from more than one supplier. So transportation management helps you to put together all these requirements in order to plan a multi-stop order, a freight order, to pick up the material from different suppliers. Stock transport orders, another object that is available in S4HANA, can generate transportation requirement, moving material between a warehouse and distribution center, or between a manufacturing facility and a warehouse. So this is as well a requirement that is used by transportation management. And the same, likewise, we have for returns. We discussed before how much increase we have in online orders. Every customer that is shipping online orders needs to have in place a very solid returns management. And here, transportation management is playing a key role, because with the returns, you can also collect the different material from the different location. And also inbound and outbound deliveries are requirements that can be a source for transportation management. Once you have all the requirements, you move to the next part. Here in this screen, you can see the transportation requirements, how they looks like in transportation management. You can filter, you can select, you consolidate the transportation requirements. Important is that you can see the requirements are visible long before the delivery date. This helps you to plan in advance and to work in decreasing the expedite orders when the requirements pop up last minute and you need to send them very fast in the quickest way. If you see them long before, you can plan better and more efficiently. So the requirements are then used in the planning part. So you have all the requirements, and SAP Transportation Management provides a powerful tool to plan all the orders together. So with different functionalities that can help you to be efficient in planning the orders. So basically, you can plan the orders either manually or automatically or semi-automatically. You can ask transportation management to plan for you. You can view the result of the plan, validate, and send the plan in execution. You can introduce constraints of like opening hours, driving hours, capacity constraints on mean of transport, loading and unloading duration, incompatibilities between material, driver constraints. So you have all the constants that you can introduce in order to plan better and more precisely your freight. You have a map-based visualization of the planning. You can plan and replan also in real time. Also, when the truck is already on the way to destination, you can replan and send the information to the mobile app of the truck driver. The result of the plan has different possibility of visualization. In this specific screen, for example, you have a dynamic overview of the loading and unloading location of a specific container and the load that the container has in it. And you have the capacity utilization of the container, very useful to be more precise and to fulfill the capacity as much as possible. And you have cross-references to other documents that are generating the requirements. For example, you can immediately, by clicking the number, you can open the sales order that is generating the requirements of moving a material between origin and destination. And this is valid for the sales order and for every other object I mentioned before that represents a transportation requirement for SAP Transportation Management. In the map, of course, the result of the planning can be visible with a multi-pickup, multi-drop-off shipment, for example. But of course, if you have a direct shipment, you have one source, one destination, and that's it. But that helps you to visualize the result of the plan. You can also have additional tools that can make your planning more precise. For example, you have a load optimizer that allows you to plan very precisely on the truck, on a container, the sequence of loading and unloading. So in this case, in this screen, you can see the different trucks containing different orders that are fulfilling the capacity of the truck until the truck is completely full. At the same time, you can see the loading sequence of the truck. That, of course, depends on a lot of things. For example, depends from the stackability constraints you want to introduce, or depends from the number of stops in the shipments, so the order you have to deliver. So you can really precisely plan your loading and unloading of the truck through this load optimizer. Another tool that is helpful is the Gantt chart. Basically, when you have you manage asset. Imagine you have trucks available from your own trucks or trucks that you rent for a long time from service providers. Your objective is to be efficient in use as much as possible your truck. And in this sense, the Gantt chart helps you to plan the full journey of a specific truck, understanding exactly where the truck is, visualizing the loading and unloading time, the travel time, the stop of the truck, etc. So the Gantt chart looks more or less like in this way, in this screen, where you have the different assets that are trucks or container that are loaded and unloaded. For a specific assets, you have the full day operations, where you have travel time, loading time, unloading time, etc., and all the different activities that are happening to a specific asset. Those are tools available, are just an example of the hundreds of tools that are available in order to drive efficiency in your transportation management system and in your operations. Once you have done the planning, the next step is to secure the execution of the plan. In this case, we have a very powerful and flexible and collaborative tool that helps you the freight tendering process. Basically, you have a set of carriers. We saw before the strategic freight component that allows you to have agreements in place with different carriers that represents your capacity. So based on the carrier capacity, based on the carrier operation, you determine what is the best carrier that can be associated to a specific plan. In this sense, the planning associate to the specific freight order a carrier, the best or a set of different optional carrier you can choose to execute the plan based on the existing agreement that you have on the system. Of course, this imply the agreement imply a cost to execute the plan. So you have the planned cost. There are also rules you can introduce to allocate the transport to specific carriers, like business shares, for example. There are also multiple ways to interact with the carrier you are working with. For example, you can direct assign the order to a specific carrier you would like to have, but also you can do peer-to-peer request for quotation to carrier, asking to the carrier, can you do this specific transport to this specific location? Or eventually you can go to the market with broadcasting a request for quotation. So there are a lot of collaboration possibilities in transportation management, also using all the latest technologies, including the network technology that we will see later on. Once you have done the planning, you have secured the carrier that is going to do the transport, you move in the execution of the transportation. Basically here, the carrier goes to the pickup location, load the material he has to load, and here you start the real execution of your plan. Of course, here there are a lot of tools to increase the visibility. So you can see the shipment tracking in real time, where your specific material is between origin and destination. So you have visibility not only of the delivery, the proof of delivery, but also where the material is in transit, in which container is the material, and when the material will arrive to destination. And this is an example of what you can see in the freight order execution monitoring, where basically you have different tiles that support your different orders you would like to see. And in this sense, you can focus, you can, of course, receive notification that needs your attention. And this helps you to manage your process by exception. Instead of monitoring a process that is going fine, you just focus to the things that needs your attention. Of course, there are different possibilities to view what's going on. In this specific screen, I show you what you can see for a specific order when you have all the events that are happening to a specific order, basically ready for loading, arrived at destination, the load has begin, the load at the end, the departure, and etc. So the different activities that are happening to a specific material are tracked in transportation management with the planned date and actual date. So this allows you to have very detailed and granular traceability of where your material is. Any deviation from the plan helps you to have the attention of if something is wrong from is going wrong compared to what you have planned, you can focus on it. Of course, the solution comes with a set of predefined standard transportation document templates that allows you to support any interaction with different parties, either customs or to comply with all the standards and the regulation, of course. But of course, the different documents can be created. So the solution comes with a powerful tool to define all the required documents that needs to be associated to a specific order, driven by material, driven by the country that is going to receive the order, driven by the customer, etc., driven by a different set of rules. You have the documents attached to your specific order that is working in direction of your final destination. Another important part is the collaboration with the different carrier and logistics service providers. So here there are a lot of objects you are exchanging with the different business provider, with the different carriers. Like, for example, rates during basically when you have a contract, the scheduling, the agreements, the orders themselves, the documents themselves when you are shipping the orders, the shipping status, the proof of deliveries, and end of the day, the invoices that your carriers will send to you. So here we have a flexible system that is designed to collaborate with the different service providers you are working with. Should be done through ADI business-to-business connection, mobile application, web user interface, and also thanks to the freight collaboration network that you have with the logistic business network. In this direction, also, the business network for logistics helps you to have visibility on the movement of your freight, on the movement of your orders. We mentioned before how We can track specific orders, knowing exactly all the details, all the activities that the order is going through. And in this perspective, SAP Transportation Management can be empowered by Business Network for Logistics that offers the integration with visibility data providers. The visibility data providers provide you the data coming from the telematics on board, for example, of the trucks, coming from the satellite that receive the position of a specific vessel, and you know the containers that are loaded in this specific vessel, and thanks to the data coming from the satellite, you know exactly where your containers is between the port of origin and the port of destination. But even more, if there is a delay of a specific vessel, the system collects immediately this delay, and thanks to algorithm, thanks to artificial intelligence, can predict the information about the new estimated time of arrival. And in addition, the system can be updated about the new estimated time of arrival, and all the parties involved in the process can be informed about this new estimated time of arrival. So again, this explain like the data are key to drive the process, and how SAP Transportation Management is collecting the data and using this data to make the process more efficient, more precise, and to increase your visibility on the process. Another very, very, very important process of transportation management is the freight costing and settlement. Transportation management contains embedded a transportation charge engine that allows you to design and to map completely the cost of transport based on the agreement you have with the different carriers and logistics service provider. Not only the direct cost of transport, like for example, cost per weight, cost per volume for a specific material, for a specific origin and destination or geography, but as well all the accessorial costs like extra fuel surcharges, documentation fees, loading and unloading fees, cost per stop, etc. So with the charge engine, you can map completely the cost of transport in your system. This has a very important value in two directions. First of all, knowing the cost, how the cost is structured, allows you to define exactly the cost of the plan. So when you are planning, you know exactly what will be the planned cost of your transport. But even more, we have a definition of, we have the idea in transportation management of planned cost and of actual cost. Once the transportation has been executed, there will be an actual cost based on the agreement, based on what has happened really to your specific material in transit. So with the actual cost, you can first of all control the invoice that you are going to receive from the carrier. So you match the invoice you are going to receive based on the actual data. And even more, what you can do, you know exactly the material that has been transported in your specific container, the cost of this transportation, and you can allocate the cost of transport at material level in the financial part. So the freight cost engine is very powerful. As you can see, you have different direction, different processes that are enabled by the freight charge and settlement part. So first of all, define the charge management, define how your cost is structured. Once you receive the invoice, you can control and pay the invoice of your service provider, and then you can allocate the cost of transport at material level that is transported in a specific freight order. Of course, this is supported by a powerful cost reporting tool in order to take the right decision. So, end of the day, transportation management contains a very powerful freight charge engine that allows you to control and to drive the reduction of the transportation costs. Here in the screen, you have an example, for example, when in the charge engine, you have a base cost and you have a fuel surcharge and other charges that can be added to a specific cost of a specific order. Of course, you can have a multiple line of this bill of material of cost, and you can allocate all this cost to the material transported. On top, you have, of course, analytics and reporting of any kind that can help you to support in real time your decisions. So analytics are on top, are fed by the transportation management activities and helps you to take the right decision. Those analytics are coming from the transportation best practices, so are designed based on the requirements of every transportation department of our customers. And if you don't find exactly the KPI you would like to control, you have a very powerful tool to design your own KPIs. To conclude, the end-to-end transportation goes through different processes. In addition to that, transportation management has a full native design integration with different SAP other components. For example, with the S/4HANA or ECC sales and procurement part for sales order, purchase order, return, stock transfer order. So that represent the requirements for transportation management that are the demand of transport I need to plan. There is an integration with the other components of the logistic platform we saw before, like extended warehouse management or logistics. There is an integration with the part of environment, health and safety to manage dangerous goods, for example, in the transport, or an integration with the component of global trade services that is addressing specifically international trade regulation or custom management, import and export documentation, and an integration with the financial management, where we saw before is key to have the evaluation of the cost of transport and reflected on during the carrier invoice verification and payment, and at material level to understand the sales order profitability and material valuation. With that said, this is high-level transportation management. And transportation management, of course, is a solution that is recognized by analysts as best-of-breed solutions by Gartner, for example. Since 10 years is recognized in the leader quadrant by Gartner, but also by our customers that are already using this solution. Actually, we have more than 1,700 customers running SAP Transportation Management for their global, regional, or domestic operations. Those customers belongs to 24 and more industries and have operation in around 62 countries. Customers recognize the capabilities and the benefits that transportation management can offer to their operations. Like in Sapphire last week, we had the Maersk that used transportation management for their inland operations and also to drive sustainability practices at corporate level in order to decrease the CO2 emission. Again, Sustainability is one of the key pillars, that the key hot topic of every customer, and transportation management is working also in this direction. Here in the slide, we have also quotes by a retail customer that increased the visibility in their operations thanks to transportation management. But there are more and more customer stories available on the web or request. Okay. Another important fact is that transportation management is not a piece of software that has been developed a while ago. It is a live software. So basically, every year we have a new release coming, and this release is embedding in the standard software new requirements coming from our customers. We have a customer-centric innovation. Basically, we collect requirements of the customer, and each release is containing new requirements and new processes coming from our customers. So we have a co-innovation customer group and a customer works group in order to develop the software in the next coming release, with a clear roadmap to deliver new functionalities. So the software is not something standalone and that had been developed a while ago, but it is something that is growing year after year. In terms of customer benefits, we have many customer testimonials. So here I mentioned only some quotes of some customers that recognize transportation management as the tool that has been key to drive benefits on their business processes. For example, Nico increased the planning of the shipment, the speed of the planning of the shipment, or Nestlé is using extensively transportation management to plan their global order across different divisions. Cargill, that is using, for example, through 72 different business units, a transportation management tool that has been adapted to the different requirements of each business unit. So different stories that can be found in the web, where you can see customers presenting those stories, or if you come to events like Sapphire, you have customers talking about their transformation and the benefits achieved. And I'm sure that also Westernacher and Yogesh has experience on customer benefits. And Yogesh, do you have, from your perspective, you see any benefits in your customer stories and implementation with Westernacher?
Yeah, indeed. Thanks, Andrea, for having, let's say, a walkthrough about what the standard SAP Transport Management features or processes can help the customers to bring some value or add some value. Yeah, to your point, basically, we do also have, let's say, multiple customers in different, let's say, industries, which have already started enjoying the, let's say, the benefits of SAP Transportation Management. So if I just bring few, let's say, values or benefits, which out of the experience we have also, let's say, learned, or how the customers are enjoying. So for example, from the increased business productivity perspective, there is a possibility of having more automated transportation processes, as you mentioned, that the consolidation possibilities from a planning perspective, wherein you definitely can reduce the planning or manpower which are responsible for planning. Then with the optimization of multiple requirements into single or let's say consolidated group A shipments, uh, with the generation of the dynamic optimized routing proposals, you could also, let's say, reduce your your complexity in your transportation chain and simplify your transportation network. There is also a possibility with the increased productivity, which is resulting into the cost or the freight cost because of the consolidation with the right usage of the, let's say, supplier with the processes in the strategic freight procurement gives you an additional negotiation benefits, and that's where you could basically see the productivity increase is also supporting in adding the value. Also in terms of this end-to-end transportation visibility and improved customer services, yeah, that's where you actually see the processes or your transportation process being handled with a management by exception motive. Yeah, so you can already, let's say, predict if there are any exceptions management processes are required, and based on that the further actions can be carried out. So the end-to-end visibility provides you the ability to take the countermeasures. For example, if there is a traffic jam or if there is a vessel delay, you could already anticipate, or if you could let's say visualize this based on certain analytics, you could already communicate this information to maybe your downstream operations, for example warehouse, so that the loading or unloading can be replanned. So that's where definitely you would see the improvements with your customer service by proper planning, your internal or external customers also getting the right visibility to achieve the customer service. Yeah, from the freight spend perspective, definitely due to the freight consolidation, the negotiations, higher asset utilization, there is definitely a potential up to 15% of freight spend what the customers are at the moment, let's say, working with. As we are working with the freight spend, optimized transport, it is definitely going to result into the cash flows. Yeah, so you could have a right costing. The cost of the freight also can be then considered while making the quotations to the customer. So that's where you can have your profitability control. There is a possibility of the cost distribution. So if I'm talking about multiple sales orders consolidated on one, let's say, shipment, I can distribute the freight per sales order based on the customer requirement, and you could also visualize the profitability here. The processes like self billing, so we see now that there is a shift from invoice verification to the self billing process. Yeah, so instead of as a customer or a shipper, the let's say the older processes where the carrier used to provide the invoice, and then my finance team would do the invoice verification. But now there is a shift, and the processes like self billing, wherein based on the contracts which have been maintained in SAP Transportation Management, you calculate the right freight, and based on that the invoice is then created by carrier using the collaboration tools. So that's where you would only work with the disputes management process if there are any inaccuracies or if there are any overcharges which needs to be handled manually. Otherwise the happy flow of the right invoice matching is handled from a self billing perspective. Yeah, definitely when we're talking about SAP Transportation Management, the customers get a chance to standardize these processes and operations for the common transportation platform, which is also then helping the customers to let's say achieve on a standard simple digital supply chain processes with the help of real-time analytics, which particular, let's say, supplier on which KPIs it is working, what are particular freight spends in my which area. I think that gives me a better control from a quicker business decisions, the business insights, and then I can act it accordingly. So such analysis, analytics which definitely can help me maybe distribute the business shares against different service providers, or maybe uh, uh, let's say allocate the right suppliers from a right region, or maybe use a right mode of transport, so to secure my sustainability target. So that's where the customers are definitely enjoying the benefit of the SAP Transportation Management. Vestas is located in Denmark. They are the wind turbine manufacturer. So from the numbers, they are the second biggest in the world. So last year, there was a corporate ranking about the sustainability indexes, and Vestas has been named as the most sustainable company within the first, let's say, global 100 ranking. Yeah. So this customer actually started the implementation in December 2016, and within 6 months the minimum viable product for the inbound transportation was live. So that's the I would say the very fast implementation you can definitely achieve when we are talking about the SAP transport management implementation. Yeah? So the inbound processes were started within 6 months, and that's where the freight spends also started enjoying, and that's basically the return on investment you could already start enjoying when you're already implementing. Yeah. So uh, Vestas in totality, they started with initially 3% of freight spend, and now since I would say 5 years or more, now they are into, let's say, possibility of 98% of consolidation of transports, reduction in freight cost, the visibility about the returning of the equipment also has been achieved, which was in earlier scenario was not at all available. So when we are talking about a Vestas, they are the wind turbine manufacturer. So we can imagine, while transportation of the turbine blades or the massive gearbox, you need to secure the loads with various additional equipments, and every time there used to be just the outgoing equipment, but there was no track. So after implementing the processes in SAP Transportation Management, even this traceability and reusability of the asset has been achieved uh, when the SAP TM has been implemented. Similar to the automated, let's say, invoice verification, as I mentioned, with reference to self-billing processes with the right contract data, they are also able to achieve the reduction into the automated invoice verification processes. This is a simple inbound process I would like to discuss, not from a process perspective. I think everyone is aware of when the purchase order for an inbound supplier is created, it has to be communicated to carrier, it has to be communicated with the supplier, and then supplier will confirm the order. They will provide the material, and the carrier job is basically to bring back or bring the material in your, it's a manufacturing plant. But the kind of automation which was achieved by having the data communicated in the right time before the delivery dates, pre-optimized transport, uh, LSPs confirming the information via EDI. I think this automation in the process has been achieved. The second use case which I would like to maybe mention here is management by exception. So as Andrea, you mentioned about usage of the control tower, usage of the analytics. That's where Vestas is only working on the management by exception. Yeah, so in a happy flow, all the transports are getting planned automatically. If there are any specifics, for example, high volume cargo, the dangerous goods cargo, maybe if there are any exceptions or delays which needs to be managed at a supplier level or at a carrier level, that's where the control tower is helping them. And the most important is the stakeholder collaboration. Yeah, so from a outbound transportation perspective, you are typically in the control of how your cargo will be packed and shipped. But in case of inbound, you are dependent on the supplier. That's where via the portal, it is possible also to receive how supplier is packing the required purchase order or multiple of purchase order. That brings the additional visibility, and then you could pre-consolidate or fine tune the consolidation to arrive on a right, let's say, execution document. In a way, it will basically reduce your freight cost because there is a right utilization of the vehicle or of the resource. Yeah, so this is maybe from a particular customer side. Maybe Andrea, if you could take us through then the conclusion and key takeaways.
Yeah, sure. So, well, to conclude, so we saw transportation management is one of the key pillars of the logistic platform. Basically, there are other solutions. Transportation management is addressing the end-to-end multimodal domestic and international transportation processes, including the cost control and cost settlement. There is a solution for warehousing called extended warehouse management that is designed to work in a facility like a warehouse, a distribution center, a cross-docking facility to support the inbound, internal operational, outbound processes in the facility. There is a solution called Yard Logistics that is designed to support, to simplify and streamline the trucks, the container, and the rail yard management. All solution comes fully integrated between us, fully integrated with S/4HANA ECC backend system, and are key to realize what Gartner called the supply chain execution platform, one single platform for the end-to-end logistics operations. Of course, the platform, we saw the benefits of transportation, but the platform itself is driving even more benefits and of course, end-to-end process monitoring, sustainability, driving sustainability practice, optimize assets and labor, reduce cost, serve better and faster your customers. With that said, I hand over back to Yogesh again for the conclusion.
Yeah. So thanks, Fandria, and thanks all of you for joining this webinar. So in next session, we would also like you to invite for the next session, which will be on the 15th of June, wherein we would like to discuss what is, let's say, how the new SAP Transportation Management from a functionality perspective can provide you value if I compare it with the older versions. The next steps on how you can start the journey about maybe having a SAP Transportation Management to be considered as part of your IT landscape, or it could be that if you are intending to move to the newer version of the SAP TM. And then we will also have one of our customers, SAPI, to discuss about their experience, how is the journey of their SAP TM implementation, migration to the newer version, and what are the benefits they are enjoying. So with this, I would like to thank you for attending today's session and looking forward to discuss more with the second part, which is on the June 15th. Any questions which you might be having, we are definitely going to, let's say, reply you offline based on the questions. And if there are any more, feel free to contact us. Thank you and have a successful day.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much also from my side. See you soon.